Last year, a 2005 BMW M3 sold at auction for $120,000. That's around £95,000. For a 20-year-old used BMW with rust issues, Vanos rattle, and a known history of engine failure, and the buyers couldn't write checks fast enough. Clean ones now trade for $40,000 to $60,000 on average in America. The rare ones, competition package cars, CSLs, individual colors, regularly clear $100,000. The record for an E46 CSL stands at $325,000. And here's what makes no sense. The engine BMW put inside these cars, the S54, was famous for one thing before it was famous for anything else: killing itself. Rod bearings that ate themselves, Vanos units that rattled apart, entire bottom ends grenading before the car hit 100,000 miles. It is, by every objective measure, a flawed engine. It's also the engine that turned the E46 M3 from a used car into a collector's asset, made specialist rebuilders into millionaires, and created an aftermarket industry worth more than some small car makers. This is the story of the BMW S54, the engine BMW built as their motorsport masterpiece, the engine that became their biggest warranty liability, and somehow, impossibly, the engine that turned into the most valuable 4 cylinders too few in BMW history. To understand why this engine is worth more than the car wrapped around it, you have to understand what BMW built. When the S54 launched in the year 2000, it set a record: over 100 horsepower per litre from a naturally aspirated production engine, without a turbo, without a supercharger, just air, fuel, and engineering. 3.2 litres of displacement, 338 horsepower in American trim, 343 in European, a red line of 8,000 RPM, and a specific output so high it held the naturally aspirated production record for years. But the headline numbers only tell half the story. The real magic was in the bottom end. The S54 used 6 individual throttle bodies, 1 per cylinder, the kind of setup you find on a superbike, not a saloon, or sedan if you're watching from America. It meant the throttle response was instant. No turbo lag, no manifold delay. Your right foot was wired directly to 6 separate butterflies, all opening together, double Vanos. BMW's variable valve timing system on both intake and exhaust camshafts, a forged crankshaft, forged rods, competition spec oil pump, a dry sump style oil system on the CSL variant. This engine was engineered the way Formula One engines were engineered a decade earlier, in a road car, built in volume, with a factory warranty, and it revved. That was the thing people remembered. Not the numbers, not the specifications, the sound. 6 cylinders in line, breathing through 6 individual throttles, climbing to 8,000 revolutions per minute with a hard-edged, mechanical fury that no forced induction engine has ever replicated. Car magazines called it one of the greatest engines ever put into a production car. They were right. The S54 was the last naturally aspirated BMW M3 engine, the end of a lineage that started with the S14 4-cylinder in the original E30 M3, the final expression of a philosophy BMW would soon abandon. And at the time, nobody knew it was the last. They just knew it was the best. Here's where the story turns, because for every S54 that survived, there was another one on a workshop bench, split open, with a destroyed bottom end. And the reason was something BMW engineered into the engine from day one: rod bearings. The rod bearing sits between the connecting rod and the crankshaft. It's a thin shell of soft metal, and its job is simple: keep the rod and the crank from touching each other. A film of oil sits between them, thinner than a human hair, and as long as that film is there, the engine runs forever. On the S54, BMW made a choice. They specified those bearing clearances extremely tight, tighter than the performance engine industry recommended. 1/1000th of an inch. That tight clearance reduced friction, improved efficiency, helped the engine rev to 8,000 RPM without losing power. It was a racing engineering decision in a road car, combined with a factory-recommended oil change interval that was too long, up to 11,000 miles or around 18,000 kilometers. The result was predictable. Engines that didn't get frequent oil changes, or that saw a lot of short journeys, or that got hammered on cold starts, would wear through those bearings in 50,000 miles, sometimes less. When an S54 rod bearing fails, the engine doesn't limp, it grenades. The rod punches through the block. Oil sprays across the engine bay. The car is stranded on the side of the road with a hole in the side of the crankcase the size of a fist. And the bill to fix it? $10,000 to $15,000, $7,000 to £12,000 for a bottom-end rebuild. More if the crankshaft is scored. BMW knew. Forums screamed about it. Specialist shops saw bearing after bearing come apart. Lawsuits were discussed. But BMW held the line. They stood by the engine and the service intervals. And for every E46 M3 owner in the early 2000s, a question hung in the air every time they turned the key. Is today the day? And this is where the money started. Because nature abhors a vacuum, and so does the automotive aftermarket. If BMW wasn't going to fix the problem, somebody else would, and charge a very good price for it. The first was VAC Motorsports in Philadelphia. They engineered a redesigned rod bearing kit. Wider clearances, coated surfaces, better materials. They sold it to every S54 owner who'd been reading the forums and didn't want their engine to explode. Thousands of units, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands. Then came the rebuilders, Emporium in North America, Munich Legends and Birds in the UK, Lang Racing, HG Performance, dozens of specialist shops across Europe and the United States. Their entire business model was this: charge $2,000, around £1,500, to preventatively replace the bearings before they failed. $2,000 per car, multiplied by the tens of thousands of E46 M3s still on the road in the UK, Europe, America, Japan. That's a market worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Built entirely out of one engineering decision BMW made in 1999. Then the upgrades started. Because once the engine was open, why just fix it? Why not improve it? Vanos rebuild kits, forged pistons, cams from Schrick, software tunes from Dinan and Epic Motorsports, individual throttle body upgrades, CSL airbox conversions. That alone is a $3,000 modification, around £2,400, and it does add real power. And that created the second wave. Because now the cars weren't just saved from failure, they were improved. A rod-bearing sorted, CSL airboxed, Epic-tuned E46 M3 is genuinely faster, sharper, and more responsive than the one BMW built. Buyers started paying premiums for cars with full specialist history. Cars without the rod-bearing job, heavy discount. Cars with documented preventative work, premium. The market had quietly reorganized itself around a factory flaw. Now let's talk about the prices. Because what happened to E46 M3 values over the last 15 years is one of the most extraordinary appreciation stories in modern car collecting. And the S54, the engine everyone was supposed to be afraid of, was the reason. In 2013, you could buy a clean E46 M3 coupe in the UK for £10,000. In America, $12,000 to $15,000 bought you a decent one. These were used cars, depreciating, dismissed as expensive to run, unreliable, and yesterday's performance. Today, the average price of an E46 M3 competition package with a manual gearbox is $42,000, around £33,000. That's the average. Not the best, not the cleanest. Average. Clean, low-mileage examples regularly trade for $60,000 and up. Competition package cars, the ZCP variant, built only for the last 2 model years, have become the most desirable mainstream E46 M3. Exclusive Interlagos blue paint, style 163 wheels, Alcantara steering wheels. Just 12 examples built in slick-top specification for the US market. 12. And then there's the CSL, the Coupe Sport Leichtbau. Carbon fiber roof, paper-thin glass, stripped interior. A dedicated intake that changed the car's personality completely. Only 1,483 built. None officially sold in America. Current auction record? $325,000. Around £257,000. And if you think that's the peak, look at the generation after. Just last week, a 725-mile E92 M3 competition package sold for $212,000. That's £168,000. For the successor to the E46, the S54 V8 that came after the S54. Same story. Rod bearings, appreciation, the BMW pattern repeating itself. So why did this engine, flawed, expensive, legendary for killing itself, make so many people so much money? 3 reasons, all of them connected. Reason 1. Scarcity of a specific kind of engineering. The S54 was built during the final moments before emissions regulations killed naturally aspirated performance. 6 throttle bodies, 8,000 RPM, over 100 horsepower per litre. That combination of engineering can't be built for a modern road car anymore. Not legally, not profitably. So every existing S54 is a closed set. No more will ever be made. Reason 2. The fix made the car better. Unlike most problem engines, where reliability modifications just bring the car back to stock, the S54 Aftermarket made cars faster. Better bearings, better oil systems, better tunes, better intakes. A fully sorted S54 is measurably quicker than a factory one. So the flaw created an economy, and that economy created a product that was superior to what BMW originally sold. Reason 3. The story sold itself. The engine that kills itself. The engine BMW won't fix. The engine worth more than the car. Every time a YouTube video, a forum thread, or a magazine article ran that headline, demand went up. Fear became fascination. Fascination became obsession. And obsession in the car world becomes price. The people who understood this pattern early, the specialist rebuilders, the parts designers, the software tuners, the dealers who bought undervalued E46s in 2013, they became genuinely wealthy. Some of them built businesses that now turn over millions of dollars a year, all from one BMW engine, with one engineering flaw, in a car that BMW officially stopped caring about in 2006. And for the owners, the ones who bought these cars cheap, maintained them properly, and held on to them, they're sitting on appreciating assets. A well-kept E46 M3 has outperformed most investment portfolios since 2015. Some individual cars have tripled in value. Not bad for a used BMW that was supposed to blow up. Here's the final twist. BMW built the S54 as their motorsport masterpiece. And it was a masterpiece. But the mythology around it, the value, the obsession, the entire industry that grew out of it isn't really about the engineering. It's about what the engine represents. The last naturally aspirated BMW M3. The last engine built with 6 individual throttle bodies. The last time an M Division 6-cylinder revved to 8,000 RPM without an electric motor or a turbocharger anywhere near it. Every S54 that still runs is a small, mechanical monument to a kind of engineering the industry isn't allowed to make anymore. The rod-bearing problem? It turned out to be a feature, not a bug. It filtered the market. Cars that were hammered and neglected died young. Cars that were cared for survived. And survival, in the car world, is the only thing that creates appreciation. The E46 M3 became valuable because so many of them died. And the ones left were, by definition, the loved ones. So yes, the engine that made tuners rich made them rich because they understood something BMW never advertised. The S54 was never just an engine. It was an opportunity, dressed up as a problem. Next time on German Powertrain Stories, we leave BMW and cross over to Porsche, because before the Metzger engine, before the GT3, before any of the modern 6-cylinder legends, there was one Porsche that broke every rule of what a road car could be. Twin turbos when twin turbos shouldn't have worked. All-wheel drive when supercars didn't have all-wheel drive. A price tag so high it bankrupted buyers. And it created the blueprint for every serious Porsche that came after it. The Porsche that shouldn't have been possible, and somehow was. If you want more untold stories about the engines, transmissions, and regulations that shaped automotive history, please join us and subscribe. Thank you for watching.